Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the Nottingham Buddhist Centre online drop-in meditation Tuesday evening. My name's Richard. I live and if you've been a regular for Centre, you've most certainly seen me around. And tonight we're going to do the Metta Bhavana, which is the cultivation of loving kindness. I won't say too much about it this time, actually. We are sort of slightly changing, and we're going to kind of relaunch some of the way we do these things. So at some point, hopefully in September, there'll be a series of videos going up, which are designed to just give you a bit of input about how we teach it and what we do. And that's just going to free up the actual sessions for a more sort of focused meditation rather than do the same intro every week. So it's going to be a slight change coming up in maybe in a few weeks' time. Which I think will be really beneficial, really positive sort of thing. But for now, I'm going to slightly change what we do. So I won't introduce the stages too much beforehand. I'll just sort of introduce the principles, I guess you could call it. And then I'll introduce the stages as we do it. So you'll always really know where you are with it, even if you're new to the practice. You'll have some idea of what we're trying to do. Now, the way that we normally do the Metta Bhavana, and this is true across all meditations really, is that we often are making quite a lot of effort, which is obviously a very good thing. We're putting our effort into a very focused and kind of directed practice. But in the interests of something a bit more balanced, maybe, tonight I think we can perhaps look at receptivity. I do normally talk about this during the Metta Bhavana, where we talk about how the practice is making you feel and what's happening for you during that meditation and what happens after the meditation as well. So we can look at a little bit tonight, I think, more about receptivity, about how we feel about receiving kindness from others. That's a very important thing. Are we receptive to kindness? I've worked on and off with quite a lot of people who display an awful lot of kindness, but they're not always, in my opinion, tuned in to receiving kindness. It's almost like it's something they want to do, and that's obviously a good thing. But actually, it's good to be able to receive kindness as well. That's often something that we sometimes feel we don't even need it, which is a bit odd. I sometimes feel like that anyway. But we do need it. So tonight I'm just going to start to emphasise a little bit more about how we receive kindness from others. So when I introduce the people in the stages, that hopefully some of you will be familiar with, we're just going to sort of imagine that we're receiving kindness from them, rather than wishing them well and so on. Obviously, we'll be doing that on some level. We're engaging with them emotionally. But we'll also try to become aware of receiving kindness. Because actually people do wish as well in all sorts of different ways. All sorts of different people wish as well. Sometimes I'm not very tuned into it, to be fair. When people express a lot of some sort of gratitude towards me or something, it takes me by surprise sometimes. Actually, I didn't quite spot that you felt that way. So yeah, I think we are quite a striving-based society, I suppose. We all work hard and we all try to make our lives better and stuff like that. But we're going to try and flip that around a bit and just, like I say, be a bit more focused on receptivity. I think also what that means is that does actually connect us to people. It's a little bit similar to how you receive generosity. A lot of us are very good at being generous, but in some ways it feels slightly awkward sometimes to accept generosity from people. And so that's just as important, because that's their opportunity to express generosity in the same way that tonight we're going to think about how other people express their kindness, and how we receive that. It's us being generous to them. We're allowing them to express their kindness to us as well. And that's just as important as wishing other beings well, like we normally do in this meditation. So we'll do it that way, I think, for a change. And it may be something that I start to sort of introduce a bit more, I think, over time. and yeah, just be a bit more aware of our receptivity. The Metta Bhavana, just a brief overview. The Metta Bhavana, Metta means loving kindness, Bhavana means to cultivate. And what we're doing is we're trying to bring into being a very much more positive state of emotional, psychological, bodily existence. Something that we may not normally have even time to do a lot of the time. We're so busy kind of responding to what's going on for us, that we don't have time to just sit and enjoy that sometimes. This is a very sort of foundational Buddhist practice of having a positive emotional state. So don't worry, if you don't have that, or, I mean, not everybody has it all the time, and nobody does really, I guess. Just be aware that it's a possibility. There's always some sort of possibility for some sort of kindness to yourself in any sort of situation, really. There's always, whichever situation we find it's always using kind of a mixed picture in some ways. We're never entirely unhappy or entirely happy. There's always a bit of a mixture going on, and we can always choose to dwell in one state or another to some degree. And the Metta Bhavana is about that. It's about identifying positivity in our experience and choosing to spend time with that positivity. So that's the foundation of it, really. So we bring 5 people to mind in stages. 4 people plus a final stage. And that's ourselves, a good friend, a neutral person, and a difficult person. So I won't say too much about them. Ourselves and the good friend, they kind of speak for themselves to some extent. And the neutral person, just try to pick someone who you can get a good sense of, but you don't know them very well, or at all, in fact. So there could be someone who lives nearby. I can think of quite a few people around where I live here. I've seen them quite a lot of times, but I couldn't even tell you their name. And I couldn't tell you anything really about them and what they look like. That's a good neutral person. So pick someone like that. It could be on public transport, someone at work you don't interact with much, that sort of thing. A difficult person, it's just someone there's a bit of tension with, a bit of difficulty maybe, a bit of friction. Again, that could be a workplace or somebody who lives near you or something like that. Don't go for someone who's really going to grab the headlines in terms of firing you up with a bit of negativity, because that may just be a bit overwhelming for your meditation, really. So try to pick someone who there's just a bit of tension with. And then in the final stage, the 5th stage, we bring all of those people together and then we start to radiate out. But instead of radiating out Metta at the end, I think what we're going to do this time is just to try to feel that other people are doing that somewhere. This is quite a popular meditation in some ways around the Buddhist world, and people do this practice. And a lot of practices, whether or not overtly the Metta Bhavana, they've still got a lot of compassionate well-wishing for other beings. So just try to tune in that other people are actually wishing as well in this context as well. So that's what we'll do. We'll imagine that we're the recipient rather than doing the radiating, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. So I won't say too much more. We can go straight into it, really. So hopefully you've got your posture at home. You've got a good posture that you're happy with. All you're looking for really is something that's not you're going to struggle with to stay upright. If you're already struggling to stay upright, you need to fix that really before we start meditating, because it just gets more difficult, really. If you feel that your muscles are working to keep you in place, you need to try and get some more support, maybe some more cushions or blankets or something like that. And if you're in any pain that's not normal pain for you, it may be that you've got some underlying condition or something, but if you've got some pain that's being caused by the way that you're sitting, it's best to try and remedy that as well before we start, because really that's just it won't go away, basically. It will just stay where it is. So what we can do for that as well is just try to get a bit more support for our body, maybe some more blankets or cushions, or even change your posture entirely if you think it's not working. That's still fine. There's ultimately no right and wrong way to sit. All you're really looking for is something you can relax into, but you won't fall asleep, but you don't have to work hard to support your body. It's something that feels solid, but also that you can relax with. Very sort of important. So with that in mind, we'll start with this quick body scan, and then we'll start to tune into the Metta Bhavana. starts tuning to Metta as a reality in the world. So if you are feeling comfortable, just gently close your eyes. And we can begin to scan through the body for pleasurable sensation. This may manifest in all sorts of ways. It could be an energetic feeling in the body. It could be a feeling of relief. You may have had a very busy day and you're just quite happy to be still and quiet for a minute. It could be quite subtle in that sense. You could just be enjoying the bodily stillness. The fact that your experience may have simplified a bit by closing your eyes and being still for a while. And just tune into your breath. Sometimes the simple rhythm of the breath can lead to a state of feeling a bit contented, a bit rested. And try to bring a sense of softness into your body. Just noticing anywhere there may be some gripping sensation, some tension, some tight muscles. Just enjoy the sensation of that relaxation, that release of tension. And just feel where you're in contact with the floor, with the chair, or your cushions. And just enjoy that sensation of being supported. Your body, the structure of your body supporting you. Just tuning into some of the subtle signals that the body is giving us. It may be that you can sense your pulse somewhere in your body. There may be a pleasurable sensation of the air across your skin. You may be able to hear some sounds that are also giving you pleasure. Just tuning in to positive events that are all around us. Paying particular attention to the area around our heart. Just imagine your heart softening, generating a sense of openness, receptivity to what's happening in the world. And we're going to be receptive to Metta. So no harm can come from that. You don't need to be fearful about opening your heart. Just allow it to relax and be receptive to the presence of Metta in the world. Just feeling this heart opening sensation. Just being receptive to how we're feeling. open to what's arising from our body, from our feeling, from our mind. So now in the first stage, we bring ourselves to mind. And here it might be good to just reflect on all of the acts of kindness that we do for ourselves. Very simple acts of self-care, feeding, clothing, washing ourselves, looking after the place we live, looking after the people we live with. All the time we're acting kindly towards ourselves in some way. We value ourselves, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like we do. Actually, we act in a certain way, and we act with metta, maybe more often than we think. Just tuning into the impulse to act kindly towards ourselves. Opening our hearts, feeling this sense of metta within us, receptive to its presence. Receptive to how this is making us feel, being open to the presence of metta. What changes do we feel? So now in the second stage, we bring to mind a good friend. This could be someone whose presence just immediately makes us smile. Just noticing the impact of the presence of this person in our minds. What happens to our bodies, to our feeling, to our mind when this person is around? And now we can imagine this person expressing kindness towards us. It may help to remember a time that they've helped you out, they've supported you. It could just simply you've had a really great time with them at some point. Just being open to that, open to their expressions of kindness, allowing yourself to feel that. Staying with your bodily sensations, your feelings, your state of mind. Staying open to this positivity from another person. You find yourself becoming a little distracted, just tune back into the breath, back into your body, looking for positive emotional, physical and mental events, and choosing to dwell in those states. So now in the third stage, we bring to mind a neutral person. Someone for whom we have no dislike or no liking, no particular preference. And just as we can choose to wish a neutral person well, just because they exist, just because they're another being, we can imagine that someone does that for us, regardless of who they are, regardless of their preferences. They can choose to wish us well, and wish us to be happy and free from suffering. Allowing your heart to stay open, aware of the wishes of others for us to be well, to be happy, to be free from suffering. Tuning in to how this practice is making us feel, receptive to the presence of metta in the world, receptive to the fact that people do wish us well. So now in the fourth stage, we can bring to mind a difficult person. Could be someone that we know well, and we're good friends with maybe. There's just some tension, some difficulty. But that's never the whole picture. Just tuning into the presence of metta beyond any particular difficulty we have. Or maybe in the background now, doesn't need to stay there. Beneath any difficulty you have, tuning into the positive regard this person may have for you. Tuning into the fact that difficulties may be overcome, some positivity may emerge. Just being receptive to the possibility of metta, even in a difficult situation. Again, just allowing the heart to remain open. Sensitive to the possibility of metta. Receiving metta from the difficult person. Just allowing that to happen. Now may be a good time to just look at the sense of contrast. How is this practice of receptivity making us feel now? How differently do we feel from when we first started to meditate? So now in the final stage, we bring to mind ourselves, a good friend, a neutral person, a difficult person. And we tune in to the well-wishing, the metta that's been generated from those people towards us. Allowing ourselves to be open and receptive. Tuning into the kindness that we do to ourselves every day. Kindness our friends show to us. Kindness of strangers. And the kindness of someone who we may be finding difficult at the moment. And now we can open our awareness even more. Any being anywhere who is doing the Metta Bhavana will be at some point wishing kindness to all beings, which includes us. Tuning in to Metta being radiated around the world. And we're included in that. Opening our hearts, being receptive to the well-wishing that others have for us. Again, just tuning into our hearts, how we feel in our body, open to the possibility of kindness in the world, tuning into how that's making us feel. And now, as we approach the end of the meditation, let's take a little time to really notice what's happened, how we feel in our body. What have been the changes during this meditation? tuning back into the breath, the rhythms of the body. Just being aware of our state of mind as we prepare to re-enter the world. So now, when you're ready, just gently open your eyes and bring the meditation to a close. Okay, thanks for joining us this evening, folks. I hope you enjoyed that slight variation on what we normally do, and there'll be more of that coming from me anyway in the upcoming months. So yeah, like I said earlier, we'll have an opportunity to do a few more different things as time goes by at the moment. So I hope that was a new take on things for you, and I hope you got something from that. Just a quick reminder that we do rely on donations here, and if you do want to give us a donation today, we're very, very grateful for that. There is a donation link in the description, and also you can find one on our website. So we don't have any other source of income really, we just rely on our donations from the people who use our centre and do classes like this. So yeah, we're very, very grateful for that. So thank you all for joining us, and the next session will be Friday lunchtime, I believe, which will either be with Karen Avacha or myself. I haven't quite decided what's going to happen yet, and in the meantime, I hope you have a good time meditating, and we'll see you soon. Take care, bye-bye.